Hey people, welcome to my channel. I am going to be doing my everyday makeup. Since I have time in this quarantine, so much time, I'm gonna show you guys how I get ready every day. But I already prepped my face. I use the Neutrogena sunscreen with a moisturizer, and then I'm going to start with the primer. So the primer I'm going to use is the Milk Hydro Primer. I really like this primer because it's super hydrating, it's super sticky, and if I'm using a very luminous foundation, I want it to be able to stick to my skin and make it last long, and I don't want it to come off my face throughout the day because I am combination oily, and usually if I'm combo oily, using a luminous foundation it won't last as long, and if I do touch my face or anything, it's just gonna come right off. So instead of me rubbing it, I like to pat it in just to make sure I can feel how tacky it gets. So primer's on, primer's sticky, and the foundation I'm gonna go in with is the Benefit Hello Flawless Foundation. Oh, Hello Happy. This is a long name. I'm gonna go in with the Benefit Hello Happy Flawless Brightening Foundation, and the shade I am in is 5. I like this because it's very medium, light to medium coverage, but it'll cover enough where it looks very natural. But I'm just going to start drawing that on my face. If I'm looking down a lot, it's because I have my phone here that shows me what I look like in the camera. So I know that I'm centered and that I'm always in focus. But to move on, I'm going to be grabbing the don't look at how dirty my brush is, but it's the IT Cosmetics, I think it's the 101 blurring buffing brush for foundation. And of course I've used this so much where you can't even see the logo or the writing or anything anymore, but this is like my ride or die foundation brush. I've used so many foundation brushes before and it doesn't perform as good as this one, but the one I really wanted to purchase, but it is quite expensive, is the Heaven Lux, I believe. It's the dual-ended. It's kind of like this one, but it does have a second side and it's smaller. It's the same shape as this brush, but it's just smaller because you can do concealer, you can do your under eyes with that. Wherever you want to focus the blending on, you can use the other side for it. Since I don't use concealer, my foundation will act as a concealer for me because I don't want my under eyes to be too bright, just to make my makeup look too unnatural, because I want it to look like my skin but still something a little bit where it evens out. And since I'm using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, it's sticky, so I don't want to rub the foundation over. I'm patting and stippling just to make sure the foundation sticks to the primer. Wow, on camera this looks a little tan. Whatever that's left over on my brush, I'm just going to blend downwards just to make sure I have no seamless lines or no harsh lines. I have had this pimple here, and I don't think it's a pimple anymore, it's a scar, and I had it for about like 2 weeks. So the next step, what I like to do is to set my under eyes and my T-zone and my nose, wherever I get the most oily. I just want it to last a little bit longer, and so I don't crease, especially my forehead and under my eyes, because my T-zone, especially my forehead, gets super creasy because I make a lot of facial expressions and just like smiling a little bit, and I always raise my eyebrows. There's always something going on up there. And I feel like in the future, I'm so gonna get Botox because I cannot stand those really blunt creases on my forehead. What I'm using is the Fenty Banana Powder. Since I have a little bit on the lid, I'm just going to take the Sephora. I think this is a Sephora Pro Hakuho Dough brush, and it's like a tapered pointed brush. And I like to start with my under eyes and tap very lightly. And I've been doing this routine for about, I don't know, I would say about like 6 to 7 months now. Because this would be like my quick, like I'm gonna run out the door, I'm going to work look, and I know for sure it's going to last. And you want to make sure you set your eyelids because you do blink a lot and you do crease, just to make sure it lasts a long time. Also, if you do use concealer or If you want to do eyeshadow, setting your eyelids is a really good first step for you to get started with your eyeshadow. But today I'm not going to do eyeshadow. Probably in the next couple videos, if I do come out with another video, because I'm always not that I'm lazy, I'm just very shy talking in front of a camera, because I feel like I'm saying the wrong things or like awkward things, and when I start recording I just cut all the jokes I make out when I shouldn't, and I feel like I'm just saying everything wrong. After we're all set, I'm gonna take my Hoola bronzer. This is the one I purchased myself. This is the limited edition. I believe it's the big value size. It's so big. And then when I tell you guys I love Hoola bronzer, well, besides like this Marc Jacobs one that I really like too, my friend got for me for Christmas. I used it all until I see pan. Don't look at my ratchet mirror, but I can I finally hit pan after like a year and 3 months now, or 4 months. But I got around like last Christmas. I really like those two because they're both like a bronzer, but they're both neutral, where they're not so warm where they make your face very orange, and they'll give you like a light color too. So the next brush I'm going to be taking with my bronzer is the, oh my gosh, I use my brushes so much where the writing like scratches it off, or maybe it doesn't even come with writing. But this is the Smashbox, I think it's the cheek brush, I believe. I don't know, but I'm just gonna take a little bit of that on my brush, tap it off just to make sure I get a little bit, and I like to start where my hairline is. I want to tap that. Since I didn't set in that area a lot, I'm going to set a little bit with the Hoola bronzer before I start blending it out. And I want to work it into like my temple and the top of my forehead. Do you see that? It gives you like a light bronze, but not really heavy. And the smallest amount of bronzer, I'm just going to dust that over my nose. So my favorite part is blush. I got my hands on the Sailor Moon Color Pop blushes, and the other one is more sparkly, but this is the more matte one where it doesn't have any shimmer. I'm gonna take that with the Crown C501 brush, and it's just like a very tapered fluffy brush where if I do pick up like a lot of product, I can really work that into the cheek lightly, and it builds up the blush very slightly so it doesn't pack the brush in if I do go heavy-handed, because I can get very heavy-handed with a blush like this. And lately I've been so into blush. I've been super obsessed. So now my brush is loaded up with blush. I'm going to start on the apples of my cheeks, so you can see how it gives me like a light pink of a color already. And I'm just going to build that up and then pull it like back into my hairline and the contour, so kind of like up into like the temple area, but focusing it on the apples of my cheeks. And it's nice when the brush is not so compact with bristles and it's like very bendable, so when you are packing on blush or anything that you want it to be very light, it's not packing it so densely on the face. Compared to like, I like using these ones when I want the blush to be super intense. I can really press it into. And you can see the difference. Blush, no blush. Oh, I'm obsessed. And whatever that's left over on the brush, I like to brush it on the forehead just to bring everything together. Oh, you see that? Beautiful. And then whatever that's left over on the brush, I'm going to dust that over my nose, just to make sure I get a little something. And I've been obsessed with that Korean look where they put the blush like under their eyes right here. I've been doing that a lot lately too. And if it's not that blended under your eyes, I like to take the setting brush that I used. I don't even know why it's shaped like that, maybe because it's dirty now, but I like to take that and really blend that blush in my under eye, just to make sure it blends together evenly in seamlessly. So now we got our blush done. We're gonna go in with highlight, and the highlight I've been using a lot is the Physicians Formula Whaley collection, and she came out with this palette where it has the butter bronzers, the blushes, and the highlighters. And at first I was so against, I think it's this highlight right here. I was like, oh, it's too pink, it's too light, I would never use it. And I guess I did one makeup look where I gave it a shot and I dusted it just a little bit on like my cheekbone, and it was beautiful. I underestimated the color, the payoff, and how it looked on my skin, but I think it's like my new favorite. I either mix this one and this one, or I just use this one alone. So with the Jeffree Star JS4 brush, it's like a highlighting brush, taper too. I'll take a little bit of the highlighter on my brush, tap off just to make sure I have a little bit, because it's super intense. And I just want a little highlight too. I don't want it to be too big where my cheekbones are popping out, because I want my skin to look a little bit healthy. I just want to show people that my skin is naturally glistening. And whatever that's left over on the brush, I like to bring it down right here by the mouth, because it gives it a healthy effect. I don't know if that's true, but when I do turn, you can see how healthy and shiny my skin looks. So you can see how when I turn, you can see how glowy my skin looks compared to this side. It's a little glowy, but not as glowy as this cheekbone. So last step is the brows. Your brows are going to be customizable. It's going to be detailed for everybody. It's going to be different for everybody. But what I like to do is, since I already got my brows waxed because I did them myself, I'm gonna go on with Gimme Brow. And what Gimme Brow is going to do for your eyebrows is going to give your brows a natural fill, but still very, very light, and it's not going to be very heavy. It has fibers in the bristles in the formula, and when you do brush it in and you press it against the skin, it gives it a light tint and a natural fill. So what I'm going to do is just brush it through my eyebrow first, just to make sure all my hairs are in place, and then turning it on its side to kind of like be matching the same way my eyebrow grows. I'm going to press that in to give it a tint on my skin to make it look like my brows are fuller, but without filling in with a whole pencil or powder or anything I need to grab with. And this whole brush is going to do everything for me. And then if it's hard to get your tail, just take the tip of the brush and just brush it along like that. And if you do put too much, just grab a spoolie and then brush that through, and it should lift up some of the excess product if you do put too much on your eyebrows. So you can see the difference now. This one, I do have a couple gaps that it's missing, not as full, and then this one looks a lot fuller, but it's still very, very natural. So you can see how like my tail on this side, it is a lot shorter. If I do want to extend it, I'll probably just go in with a defined pencil just to give it a sharper tail, just to match a little bit on this side. And to do that, I'll just grab a little bit of the Anastasia granite pencil. This is the Brow Wiz, not the definer. Definer's too thick. I like this one because it's not as blunt as the Benefit Cosmetics one. If you really want to draw your eyebrows and draw little hairs, you could do that. But since this is very waxy, and when you do draw it on, it looks very soft and blurred, it's good for my tail just to give me a little something. And all I did was draw a straight line from the middle of my eyebrow down, just to extend my tail. And I'll probably do a little bit on the same, but not making my tail longer than the other side, just to match, so they both have a filled like pencil look on both sides, so they're not uneven. So the last step is going to be, well, I say it was supposed to be my eyebrows, but of course you gotta set your makeup. And since I said it was hot in San Jose, the all-nighter setting spray is going to make your makeup last a lot longer. So I'm just gonna close my eyes and give my face a quick spritz. Okay, that is it for the finished look. That is how I get ready every day. I know this video is probably gonna be like around like 10 to 15 minutes long, however long I put this, but since I was talking it's going to make the video a little bit longer. But usually if I am just putting music on or putting YouTube in the background, I'm just getting ready, it's going to be really quick. But this foundation is really amazing. A lot of people don't want to give it a shot because of the packaging, or it just looks gimmicky, or when you do swatch it, sometimes it doesn't sit that nice. But you can also purchase the mini version, or I think you can go to Sephora too, but you can't go around this time since Sephora's closed. Just, I would say, is order the mini so you can try it out, and if you don't like it, you can return it. And plus, it's not like you're buying a full size like this one where it's like $30 and the mini one's like $15. At least you're trying out the mini, because if you do really like it, you can finish out the small bottle and you can purchase the big one. But that is all I have for you guys. That is how I get ready every day. Maybe in a future video I'll do a full glam how I do my eyes, my eyeshadow, because I do have a lot of friends that ask me why don't I record videos on how I do my cut crease eyeshadows, and I use like a lot of colors, because a lot of people are still afraid of using colors on their eyes. But when you're not afraid, I feel like you can have lots of fun with it. But that could be in a future video. But if you like what you guys saw today, please subscribe. In the future I will try to put out more. In this whole pandemic thing, it's so crazy, but I hope everyone is staying safe, and just make sure you're just staying at home, just to make sure that everyone is safe too, to prevent anything from transferring to someone, or just make sure you're saving lives. But that is all I have, and if you guys would like to see something in the future, just make sure you give this video a thumbs up so I know that you guys like these kind of videos. Okay, thank you, goodbye.